All right, the next thing we're going to do is now take a look at how we can use a table to come up with an equation for a situation. So we have 4 situations here with an x variable and a y variable shown in a table. So the first table is looking at the number of laps and meters run, say in a track event, and we're going to try to describe what we see as the relationship between the x value, which is the top row, and then the y value, which is the bottom row. So how are the two related to each other? Now, each one of these, the hint is, each one of these relationships involve the number 400 in some way. So in other words, how are these two things connected by the number 400? How are these two variables connected by the number 400? How are these two variables connected by the number 400? So if you look at that, maybe study it for a little bit, maybe look at each one of the connections here. You notice that if we take and multiply the top row by 400, we get the bottom row. In other words, 1 times 400 is 400. So 1 times 400 is 400. 2.5 times 400 is 1,000. You might not know that one as well because it has a decimal, but maybe this one up here, this one makes sense. 6 times 400 is 2,400. 9 times 400 is 3,600. So you're taking the x value and you're multiplying it by 400 and you're getting the y value. So if I describe that, multiply x value by 400 to get the y value. Okay. Now each one of these scenarios involves a relationship between x and y that somehow involves 400. So if you want to pause the video and try B, C, and D, see if you can figure out how 400 is involved with moving from x to y, go ahead and do that. We're going to walk through that together right now. So in the second one, meters from home, meters from school. So somehow 0 is related to 400, 75 is related to 325, 128 is related to 272, and so on and so forth. And so there's a relationship between the x variable and the y variable that involves 400. Can you see what it is? So notice that 0 plus 400 is 400. 75 plus 325 is 400. 128 plus 272 is 400. All right, so x plus y, in this case, is going to be equal to 400. So 400 is involved in that it is the sum of x and y. So add x and y to get 400. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, so electricity bills in dollars, expenses in dollars. How can we move between the two? How is one related to the other one by using 400? How is this related to this by using 400? All right, so I'm noticing that if I take the x and I add 400 to it, I get the y. 85 plus 400 is 485. 124 plus 400 is 524. 309 plus 400 is 709. All right, so if I add 400 and x, we get y. So add 400 and x to get y. All right, last one of this group. All right, monthly salary in dollars, amount deposited in dollars, and somehow involves 400. So how are these related to each other with the number 400? How are these related to each other? All right, maybe you're noticing this one now. If I take the x value and I subtract 400, I get the y value. 998 minus 400 is 598. 1015 minus 400 is 615. So I subtract 400 from x to get y. All right, so we described each one of the relationships in words. Now let's figure out which equation then goes with each relationship. So equation number 1, 400 plus x equals y. All right, so maybe you're noticing that one is this right here. So if I add 400 and x, then I get y. So that matches with table C. All right, equation 2, x minus 400 equals y. All right, so that was the last one we did, right? So x minus 400 equals y. So that was table D. Matches that one. Equation 3, x plus y equals 400. All right, so that was our second one, right? That was table B, where we added the two together to get 400. So that would be the equation that goes with that one. And then hopefully that leaves us with a where we multiply 400 by x to get y. So 400 times x equals y. So yes, that was A. So now we have an equation that matches with each one of those table situations that relates the x and the y value together. And they all